All right, we're going to go over the last part of the practice test. So 40 through 58, I think, the last 19 questions. So question 40. Spun a colored spinner 20 times. The results are on the frequency table, but we're trying to determine how many times to expect green if the spinner is spun 400 times. Where would we start with this one? Eben.
Okay, let's start out with probability.
It is probability, so yes, it is going to be in fractions.
So I put green since that's one. 4 over 20.
Okay, the green occurred 4 out of 20 times.
And that equals 2/10.
That is 2/10. You are correct.
So I scaled that up like a scale factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 400 and I had to find the numerator.
Okay, so you had your 4 out of 20. You found a different way to do it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find out of 400. So we can divide it, the first fraction, and take that and multiply it by the 400, or you can cross multiply, or however you did. But even, what answer did you get?
80.
You got 80. Very good. Yes, sir. What did you do, Braden?
So I did 4 over 20, and then I did 1 over 20. I just cross multiplied, and I got 80 over on the numerator.
Yeah. You're good. Excellent job. All right, 41. We are looking for the conditions that result in a unique triangle. We're specified unique. In order to be unique, what information must you have? Sides. Sides are unique. Angles are not. All triangles are going to add up to 180 degrees, but not all triangles are going to have the same perimeter. So if it's unique, it has to be sides. It cannot be A or B. All right, so we're left with C, D, and E. How do we check if side lengths make a triangle? Monica.
You add the shortest one to make sure it's larger than the other number.
Good. The two short ones add together, and you want it to be greater than the largest side. So on our first one with C, will those 3 side lengths create a triangle? Malik?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because the two smaller numbers together equals 9, and the greater number is 8.
Very good. 2 plus 7 does give you a value greater than the 8. So C is a correct answer. How about D?
No.
Braden? Why not? Good. 5 plus 6 is not greater than 12. So C is not a triangle. Please turn your phone off. How about E? Uh-huh. Good. E is also a triangle. Excellent job. So we do need to keep in mind that unique has to be given with what? With your side lengths. Very good. All right, 42, we have a random sample of the girls' heights at a basketball camp. You have 7th grade girls, you have 8th grade girls. And we are trying to determine whether these 4 statements are true or false. The first one, the mean height of 7th grade is greater than the mean height of the 8th grade. How do you know it's true?
So I had to find the mean of both. And the mean for the 7th grade is 66. And the mean for the 8th grade is 65.5.
7th grade, you said they had a mean of 66. 8th grade had a mean of what?
65.5.
65.5. So 7th grade is. Very good. How do you find the mean?
Add them all, divide them by.
Good. Add your values up and divide by how many you have. All right, your second one. The girls in both grades have the same median. Monica.
False.
Okay. False. How do you find the median?
You list the numbers in order from greatest, from smallest to greatest, and you find one in the middle.
good. List them from smallest to biggest and find the one in the middle. What was the median for 7th grade?
67.
It was about 67. What was the median for 8th grade?
66.
66. Very good. Okay, the heights of 8th grade girls varies more than the heights of 7th grade girls. If we're talking about how much something varies, what are we talking about? Malik? The range. All right, so varies is going to reference the range. How do we find the range?
Smallest subtract, or smallest minus, or largest minus smallest.
The largest number minus the smallest. So what was the range of 7th grade? Is 8. The range for the 8th grade is 4. So does the 8th grade vary more than the 7th grade? No, it does not. It has a smaller range. The girls in 7th grade tend to be taller than the girls in 8th grade. Eben, why do you say this is true?
Because I compared all of the data for the median, the mean, and the 7th grade was usually higher.
Good. Compare the median and the mean. And both of them proved that the 7th graders are taller. Well done. 43. Oliver is trying to keep up with the current amount of money in his bank account. He uses positive numbers to show his deposits and negative numbers to show his withdrawals. Which expression best represents making 8 withdrawals of $25? Which expression is showing that Oliver made 8 withdrawals of $25? Meaning he withdrew $25 8 different times. Keelan. C is correct. One of those numbers had to be negative. Withdrawals are negative. What would A have been representing? A deposit, because it would have been a positive. Good. All right, 44. The table shows the results of a student spinning a colored spinner 20 times. And based on the data, we want to complete the sentence. So 44. Read the sentence and fill the blank in, please. Brayden.
Based on the data, the student is less likely to land on blue section rather than a green section. Let me keep going.
Okay, so they're less likely to land on blue than green. Why is that?
Because green has more frequency.
Good. The green has more frequency than blue. All right, do the next one.
Blue section rather than a green section, the student is equally likely to
Very.
land on the red section rather than the blue section.
Okay, so why did you choose equally likely for the next one?
Because red and blue have the same frequency.
Very good. Red and blue have the same frequency. Well done. 45. How many of y'all missed this the first time you did it? Yeah, I expected that. The word round is a misleading term here. Okay? This is the type of question you need to be warned to make sure that your answer makes sense, especially since we're dealing with measurements. Sean's placing a fence around a circular garden with a 15-foot diameter, and we're trying to figure out how many feet of fencing he's going to need to enclose the garden. What type of question is this regarding the circle? If we're going around, okay, this is a circumference, and the formula for that is pi times diameter. And we know that pi is 3.14. We're told that the diameter is 15. But when you place this into your calculator, what answer did you get? What was that again, Keelan? 47.1. Now, our rounding rules tell us that a 0.1 rounds down to 47. But if we think about measurement and we want to enclose this completely, is 47 feet of fence enough to enclose 47.1 feet. No, you'll still have a gap. So this one actually rounds up to 48. This was a very misleading type of question because of the word round, but it has to make sense regarding the question. Even.
So when I got it wrong the first time, I thought it was area next. So I did area, and now I know what that's wrong.
Gotcha. One thing to keep in mind, fences go around. That's going to be circumference. Area is when you fill something up. You want to take up the whole space. And a fence isn't going to take up the whole space. 46. Raul has a fair coin and a spinner divided into 4 congruent sections labeled A, B, C, and D. Raul will toss the coin once and then spin the spinner. Which tree diagram correctly shows all possible outcomes? Keelan.
Girl, what?
All right. Why did you choose D? You don't know why you chose D? Can we have an S? A thunderstorm is starting. We'll be all right. Can somebody explain why D is the correct answer? Other than it's the only one that makes sense. Sam? What? It just is?
I agree.
Well, Braden?
Because it has it's like, it says A, B, C, and D, and all the other ones have like this part of it. It just is. Like,
He's right.
It just is.
The other ones are incomplete, and when you've got C, it's showing that heads can only land on A or B, and tails can only land on C and D. Good. 47. A stack of cards is numbered 1 through 50. If a student selects a card, what is the probability that a student will land on a card or will select a card that has both the same number in the ones place and tens place? If we're dealing with the numbers 1 through 50, which numbers are being described here? Keelan, what's one of them? 11. Eben? 22. Which other numbers are being described? 33 and 44. That's what it meant by the same number in the ones and the tens place. How many numbers are we looking at? 4 out of 50. And this says to write the number as a decimal. So 4 divided by the 50. And what decimal value do we have? Keelan? 0.08. Excellent. How did we do on 48? There's some of these multi-step word problems, and these were a little bit of an issue at the start of this packet. Ken earned 120. Okay, we didn't do. Hey, be honest. It's all good. Honesty gets you help. Lying just hopes and prays you do okay. Make some lucky guesses. All right. Ken earned $128 from his part-time job this summer. He spent 25% of his money on games. He's going to donate 1/6 of the remaining of the money to charity. How much money will the charity receive? So we're starting out with $128. It says he spends 25% of his money on games. We need to figure out how much he spent on games. How do we go about doing that? Keelan?
128 times 0.25.
Good. We're going to find 25% of that number. And Keelan said to take the 128 and multiply it by 0.25. And that is exactly correct. What value does that give you?
Oh, the answer.
$32? So he spent $32 on the games. What do we want to do with that amount now? Subtract it from his original money. So he had 128. He spent $32 on his games, which now leaves him with $96. The next part of the question says he's going to donate 1/6 of the remaining money to charity. So we need to find 1/6 of the $96. So 1/6. What does of mean? Of means multiply. So 1/6 of your 96, which turns into 96 over 6. What is 96 divided by 6? 16. So $16 has gone to charity. Just keep an eye on your words. That of is always going to mean to do what? It's always going to mean to multiply. 49. This looked like a nice little boost of confidence problem. How do you change the fractions to decimals? Right? Good. We're going to divide the numerators by the denominators on every single one of your questions. And when we do that, what answer choice does your first one give you? Monica? 0.6 repeated. Very good. The next one, what does it give you? Brooklyn? 0.625. All right, how about our third one, 36 over 60? Keelan? 0.6. And our last one, Sam? 0.63 with a repeated 3. Excellent. Those are the types of problems that make us feel better. Like, woohoo, at least I'll get that right. All right. Question 50. A fair number cube with numbers 1 through 6 was rolled 200 times. The number 5 was rolled 34 times. If the number cube was rolled 300 times, approximately how many times would the number 5 be rolled? What do we know about the number 5 originally? It came up 34 times out of how many rolls? Out of the 200 rolls. We're trying to find the number of times it'll come up with 300 rolls. So we go back to those equivalent fractions. Cross multiply. Whatever fraction sense or equation sense that you want to use here is perfectly fine. Keelan.
I did 34 divided by 200.
Okay, so you did I'm just going to write this completely backwards since apparently that's what my brain's doing at the moment. All right, 34 divided by 200. I'm going to assume that gave you 0.17. Okay?
Divided that by 300, we got 51.
Okay, you multiplied it by 300. And you got 51. Beautiful. That is a method to do that. Bryden?
I just got 51 without any work. I don't know how.
You just guessed.
I got it right.
A lot. If you haven't noticed, a lot of these problems go back to our proportion sense. Those two equivalent fractions. That has been a huge part of almost, I'd say probably 75% of what we've done this year can be set up with those proportions. So it's kind of a thing to keep our eye out for on a lot of these questions. 51, a good angle question. But we're trying to find the measure of CED. So we're trying to find this angle right here. In order to find that angle right here, what do we need?
By X.
We got to find x first. Okay? Okay, so the first thing is to find x. The second thing is to use x. That comes back into those questions to make sure we do both steps. In order to find x, we need an equation. We need to know that something equals something. Eben, what do we know up here that something equals something else?
The right angle is 90 degrees.
Okay, we do have a right angle right in here. We do know that that's 90 degrees. All right, what else do we have?
Another x. Another 3x.
We do have another x. So how can we use all of this information to help us come up with an equation? It will involve,
Combine like terms.
we will be combining like terms. I've got them marked in green and red. What do we know about the green angle and the red angle together?
Supplementary.
90.
They combine to make 90. Because if you look, that middle section's 90. So if you pull, the whole thing is 180. We could use 180, or you can just remove the 90-degree angle and know that the rest of it has to equal 90. So you have your 3x minus 7, and we're going to add that to x plus 8, and that's going to equal 90. Back to our equations. And it is combining like terms. So Eben, what is the combining like terms since you brought that up?
4x plus 1 equals 90.
4x plus 1 equals 90. And we want to solve this.
Subtract 1 from both sides.
Subtract 1 from both sides.
4x equals 89.
4x equals 89. Very good.
Divide both by 4. You got x equals 22.25.
X equals 22.25. So are we automatically going to jump the gun and choose A? No, we need to double check the question. The question doesn't say find X. It says find angle CED. So your X has to go into the problem. X plus 8, so 22.25 plus 8. And you get 30.25. Double checking the question. Anybody get caught by this one, or are we kind of reminding ourselves to double check the questions now? Good. All right. 52. Chris works at a bookstore and earns $7.50 per hour plus a $2 bonus for each book she sells. Chris sold 15 books. She wants to earn a minimum of $300. Which inequality represents the situation and what quantities are true for H? The fact that it's a minimum of 300 is where I would start first. Because that's going to tell you your inequality sign, and not all of these have the same inequality sign. What does minimum of 300 tell us to use? Sam? Greater than or less than?
Something equal to.
Greater than or equal to. So we want it to say greater than or equal to 300. That immediately takes out A and C. What's the difference in the inequalities for A and C? Okay, one answer is 36, one answer is 35. Look at the actual inequality, though. Look at the placement of the variable. After choosing your inequality sign, look to your variable. What does the H stand for?
Hours.
The H stands for hours. So your H has to be with the number that stands for hours. In our problem, which number is referencing the hours? The 750. So your H must be attached to that one. Which answer did we just eliminate?
B.
We just eliminated B. And have your answer.
Why does this take me 20 minutes?
Sometimes we need to stop and eliminate answers first, based on the facts you have. You just guessed. I hope y'all are lucky guessers here.
So was it?
Well, next week is going to be the English test, so you guys will be here Monday and Tuesday. You stay home Wednesday and Thursday, and then you'll be here Friday. So I'll see you guys next Friday. Okay, and next Friday we're gonna prep for that day 2 part of the test. Just kind of do some PBA practice, get our jitters out, and then the following week you math test Monday and Tuesday. And a lot of you test with me, so you'll be in here with me. Lucky people, Monday and Tuesday. Wonderful, you'll love it. Miss Brown wants you. Yes, she does.
I'm looking at this brown.
And then Wednesday and Thursday you stay home, and then I won't see you that Friday either. So it's
You always
It's a
choose
bomb.
the shoemaker for me.
I don't want to go to hers.
I'm sorry. Y'all will be okay. But let's finish this up. We almost done. Victor, question?
What you got from snacks?
Oh, you have you'll do, for me, on next week, on next Wednesday, when you're supposed to be in my class and you're virtual, you'll have a bell ringer, which is 2 questions, and then you'll have a practice test, and it's on Edge Elastic. It won't take you that long. Okay? It's just going to give you one last run through of some things to keep in mind. Okay? Because we don't want to go a whole week without class, and then you take, your 2.5-hour test. Okay? So I'm not going to download you with a whole bunch of stuff.
No, I'm talking about after the test.
Oh, we're going to do equations and equations and equations and equations and equations and equations and equations. Lots of equations. It'll be okay. You'll be all right. You're doing equations.
Throw myself
Yes, I am
in there.
serious. We have 2 weeks of school after tests, and we do work because we have to do the 8th grade level equations for this class. It's an advanced class, right?
Yeah.
You have advanced objectives to do. I'm questioning about some people in this class, Sam. Then you'll have to do it from home. Otherwise, I throw zeros in. No, not for my class. You haven't. You still have work for my class to do. Just because state test is over doesn't mean the school year's over. It's 2 separate things. Your state test is over the 7th grade objectives. If you're going to take an advanced class, you better be prepared to do the extra work. Told you that back in August.
Wait, we got work after the test?
Yes, babe.
Like
We're
we
doing
got-
equations. Yes. Grades. Lots of them. All right. So now that we've taken almost 3 minutes of the distance learner's time on this video, they'll be all right. We're gonna go to 53.
Don't edit it out.
I don't plan on editing anything. All right. The windows of a school bus need to be washed by the end of the day. Mr. Casey washes 1/3 of the 33 windows before lunch. If Mr. Casey washes 8 of the remaining windows after lunch, how many windows will still need to be washed by the end of the day? Another multi-step problem. Keelan, you seem to like these. Where to start?
Oh. So I divided 33 by 3 and got 11.
All right. So 33
So,
times 1/3 is 11. So what is that 11?
that's the 1/3 of the 33 windows.
Okay, so those were done before lunch. So if he washed 11 windows before lunch, how many does he have to do after lunch? Okay, so 33 minus the 11 he's already done is 22 for after lunch.
That ain't what I did,
I'm just writing it down in detail on the questions. Okay, now what happened?
So then I just added 11 and 8 and got 19. It's not 11.
Well, I'm going to do 22 minus 8. And what was your final answer?
I got 14.
14 left total.
They bullying me.
You be all right.
What?
All right, let's go to question 54. Sam drew triangle ABC, then applied a scale factor of 2 1/3 to draw triangle QRS. Okay, On this one thing is to also keep the corresponding sides together. Because which on the two triangles, what's going to match up with AC?
So you're not gonna adjust it.
90 degree.
What side on the other triangle will match up with A and C?
Oh, Q and S.
Yeah, the QS will match up.
She asked me, not you.
What will match up with the AB?
I don't know.
QR will match up. And what will match with BC? SR.
Because
We do need to know that because as you apply the scale factor, you need to know which side matches to it.
I skipped this one.
All right, Braden, if you're going to apply a scale factor, you're going to multiply everything by that number. So you're going to take the 15 and you're going to multiply it by 2 1/3. You're going to take the 9 and you're going to multiply it by 2 1/3. And then you're going to take the 12 and you're going to multiply it by 2 1/3. This is how you solve a scale factor problem. It's multiplication. What answers do we have? Or do we need to practice multiplying mixed numbers? Let's do that too. All right. 15 over 1. We're going to multiply it by 7 over 3. Nine over 1, you're going to multiply it by 7 over 3. And then 12 over 1, you're going to multiply it by 7 over 3. What answers did you have for QR? That's the one that multiplied by the 9.
21.
You got 21.
Good job, you.
What about RS?
28.
28.
Good job, Rick.
And QS? 35.
See how easy? Yes, you are.
Very good.
Shut your mouth.
All right, boys and girls. At 11 p.m., the temperature in Alaska was -5 degrees. 4 hours earlier, the temperature was 40 degrees warmer. What was the temperature at 7 p.m.?
I don't know, ask Cole Peters. Oh, he knows everything about Alaska.
ain't it 35?
Is he still here?
How are we going to find 35, Keelan?
Honestly,
Turn your phone off.
Turn that phone off.
anyways, so what I did is I just added 40 by -5 and got 35.
Yeah, that's right. The -5, 40 degrees warmer. And you got 35 degrees. You be all right.
No, I won't. This is a continuation.
Okay, 56.
Shut up.
Jim drew a triangle with side lengths in inches of those three numbers.
I skipped this one.
Riley made a scale drawing of Jim's triangle using a scale factor of 1/6. So, Braden, what does that mean?
That we're gonna multiply everything by 1/6, right?
Very good. You are going to multiply everything by 1/6. So 3.5 times 1/6.
Shut up.
4 3/4 times 1/6. 5 9/10 times 1/6. Everything multiplies by 1/6, and you cannot use decimals here. 1/6 repeats, and you won't have a scientific calculator on this one on the test, so it would be a good idea to be able to do these by hand. Turn them into improper fractions. What's 3.5 as an improper fraction?
3 times 2 is
7 over 2. And then 1 over 6. What is 4 3/4?
19 over 4. I'm pretty sure.
19 over 4
I was right.
times 1 over 6. And the last one?
59 over 10.
59 over 10. times 1 over 6. You need to multiply them all out. No, you're even. We're not going to wink at Keelan. It freaks him out, makes him paranoid. All right. What's the answer choice? Are you sure? Are you positive? Positive. You are correct. The correct answer is A when you multiply those all out. 57. Which table represents a proportional relationship?
I guessed.
But how do you determine a proportional relationship?
X times Y. Y divided by X.
Y over X. And it must be the same in every single question. Every one that you do. Which table was the proportional relationship found in? D.
Hold on, I guessed right.
You have to guess.
All right, 58. Which equation results in a solution of 0?
Number 8.
Number A?
Yep.
Why number A?
Because that's the only one that works.
Shut up. Let me speak. She went 10 blocks north. I don't know if this is north or not, but
Correct.
she went 10 blocks north, right?
Uh-huh.
Why are you pointing up?
Yeah, north goes up. We'll work with that one.
That was north.
Anyways, so was she going underground?
Yes.
Oh, she a mole. Okay, so she went 10 blocks north, right?
Huh?
Then she went 10 blocks south to the opposite of north. So she's back at where she was at the first time beginning. So therefore she went 0 blocks from a starting place.
Very good. North and south are opposites on those. Very good.